Hey everybody, this is David Skarica. So this is a special presentation. It's been a while, and a lot of what I do is one reason I ended the pay newsletter, the regular monthly subscriptions, is because it became such a small part of what I was doing, um, and just almost like a time waster. In that, first of all, I don't like structured, I did this thing for 25 years, especially in the early days when we didn't have all this media on the internet. It was mostly just PDF posts. I was doing monthly newsletters, etc. So I like to be able to do 3 or 4 updates a week if it's like an active market, one update every 2 weeks if it's not, et cetera, et cetera. And then also I do consulting work with companies. We do market awareness programs, and I also help companies raise money, et cetera. And really, that is getting to the point where that was becoming 95% of my income, and the newsletter was actually probably costing me money. And I was, just the newsletter, like other than the lifetime subscribers, the number of monthly subscribers, because I wasn't promoting it. I tried to restart it a few times late last year, but it was just like, I have to admit, I wasn't into it, but this is kind of what I want to do now. I did get not as active last year in deals because I thought that the market was slowing and we were in a bear market, and we were one of those things where gold go down with the market, like 2008, like 2000. So I just didn't really do a huge amount of deals. I did a few early this year, but see, the thing about doing these deals, you have to keep doing them, because it's like playing cards or like playing baseball. How many home runs is a good home run hitter hits 40 or 50 a year in 500 or 600 bats, right? It's like you're only going to do really well in so many of these deals, but you have to keep doing to do well. But every once in a while, you do get that gut feeling, because you do so many of these deals, that one is going to do really well. And I think I have one really well. So this is why I'm sending this video to actually the entire pay list, not just my subscribers. So below this, just so you know, I'll have the form for if you're interested in the private placement. Obviously, I'm not soliciting anyone. This is, if you're interested, please click on this form. You can write me an email. I can help you out. I can get you in keep contact with the company, et cetera, et cetera. Just so you know, myself, I've bought, my family bought over 200,000 shares of this, and I'm slowly picking away on the market, just buying like 5,000, 10,000 a day. Basically stock's about 9 cents. So it's basically like $500 to $1,000 a day, but it adds up. I still want to buy probably about another 50 to 100,000 on the market. And I've put about 20K in myself, in a higher priced earlier financing. And I really like this deal because every once in a while, when I met Colin Cattell at Palisades, which I'll show you in a second, he also did Newfound Gold, which was again one of these deals I'm talking about. And when I met Stan Barty years ago, and I met a few other people here and there, you get a good feeling about a guy. My friend Mike Williams, who did Aftermath, a good feeling about the deal, and a good feeling about that it's going to do well. And I'd say every like 2 to 3 years, I get one of these, even in a poor market. And like I said, you still do the other ones, because you're not going to get that good one, and if you just totally cut yourself off. But this one I feel very, very good at. So it's called Carlyle Commodities. I have the presentation below. I'm not here really to talk about the company. I've interviewed the company. We've talked about the company in the past. They've got these 2 projects. In BC, Newton is really the one that they're working on. The Newton is the one that they're working on right now. It's already got a 43-101. You can see for 861,000 ounces of gold. They've had excellent drill results at depth. The stock's just not doing anything because of the market. So what I want to show you is these are the ones in the past that had the feeling for, I did them and I made a lot of money. So the first one I'm going to start with, and I'm going to talk about private placements. I've talked about how to invest in private placements before, but I'm just going to quickly go over these deals before we get Carlyle out. So, and just how this works. So Tinka, I did at 10 cents placement back in 2010, with a warrant at 15 cents. So basically, long story short, you can see they had a project in Peru. I actually even visited the project. The stock went from 10 cents to 60 cents. I exercised the warrants. So essentially, I made basically on average 5 times of my money on both the warrants and the original. Actually, I made like over 10 times of my money, because here's what you do. The warrant at 15, I sold. So say, I think I had, and I didn't have a huge amount. I just had 100,000 shares, 10 grand worth. So I sold 10 grand worth, or sorry, 15 grand worth of stock, which was only like 25,000 shares up here, at 60 cents. And then exercised the warrant at 15. So then all of a sudden I had 175,000 shares, which at 65 cents, you do the quick math, ends up being roughly $110,000. That $110,000 I had wired to my bank account and used that for the down payment of my mortgage. Back then, the Canadian dollar was about 1 for 1. So, that 110 Canadian was 110 US. And, in Bahamas, the down payments are higher. It's like 30%. So you have to figure out how much I paid for my house. But essentially, this was the majority of my mortgage payment. So that this stock here, basically going from 10 cents to 60 cents with the warrant. So really, I turned, if you include, see, here's the thing, the warrant money was really just recycled profit. So it's really not new money when stocks go up like this. So really, it was 10 grand turned into 110 grand, even though the stock only went up 6x, the value of what I had went up 10, 11x. So that's kind of how it works. So then another one we had a few years ago was Wallbridge, and I had some 8-cent warrants in it. And Wallbridge, that's way back in 2010. So I did this one in 2016. And then just before the warrants expired in 2019, all of a sudden I noticed this stock was up a lot. It was up to like 30, 40 cents. And like I said, I had 8-cent warrants. And look, it took a few years for it to move. That's the way these things go sometimes. And then boom, I remember when this spiked, I was like, I remembered, I was like, oh yeah, I still have these warrants, and I exercised them and I made 4 times on my money, right? So that's the way these things can work. And then another big one we did recently in the last few years was Aftermath. In 2019, I kind of feel the way about Carlyle the way I felt after in 2019. I was like, we're just starting another up wave in commodities. This is something that has a resource, can build on the resource, has big potential. The CEO, in this case, Morgan, the current CEO, it's kind of new to me. He's, I've just become friends with him or whatever, gotten to know him in the last few months. Mike Williams I've known for years, but anyhow, Aftermath, you can see here, we did 8-cent financing with a 12-cent half warrant. The stock went, by the end of 2020, was 150. Now, I on average probably sold in like the 40, 50 cent range. I was still pretty happy being up 5 times on the stock. Some I sold in the 20s, some I sold higher, at almost $1, that kind of thing. But Aftermath did fantastic. And again, with that, this is a half a warrant. So if you were to have done 100,000 shares, 8 grand at 8 cents, that means when the stock was $1, you could have just sold, your 50,000 warrants at 12 cents, which would be 6 grand. Could have sold 6,000 shares, right? Exercise those 50,000 warrants. You'd have 144,000 shares left, and your $8,000 investment basically would be 144,000. You'd be up, about 18 times on your money, but the stock actually only went up 12 times. So that's the way it kind of works, and remember, the nice thing about the warrant is really when you're selling that warrant, the stock at a profit, exercising the warrant, it's not really new money, right? It's just the recycled profit because you've made so much on the stock. So that's the advantage when these things really do work out. So another one I did that didn't have a warrant, but still did very well, was Nevada King, Colin Cattell. Again, very similar to Morgan. Colin's a young guy. I met him back in 2014. I was really impressed with him. He's only like 24, 25 then. I think he's in his early 30s now. He put together this huge property land holding in Newfoundland, and boom, the stock just came like gangbusters. And we bought, I think it came out around $1.50. We bought it at $1 pre-IPO. So boom, right away, someone made 50 cents just off the top, right? When it started trading. And then you can see this thing had some excellent drilling results and went up to $13 a share, 13 times their money. I've actually had people write me saying that if I ever met them, one guy's a doctor in Chicago, he knows who he is. that I would never have to worry about, if I met up with him paying for dinner again in my life, if I ever meet these people. So these are the kind of things. And then again, because of Colin, because of the land holdings, I had a really, really good feeling about this. And this is kind of the way I feel about Carlyle. With the market cap, we're going to go look at it now. For some reason, they're not on stock charts, but we can go look at it here in Yahoo Finance. Only a 2.9 cents, only a 2.4 million market cap, only like 27 million shares outstanding. And by the way, 8 million of those 27 million are rolled back shares. So that means those are people who now own a couple thousand shares, at $1 a share. So first of all, they're not going to sell till they're like near breaking even. And they're just a bunch of small little shareholders. They're not big guys. So really that stock is not going to represent a huge amount of overhead. So he's looking to raise 2 to 2.5 million here. So I would basically double the market cap. But the structure still will be tight because it's a lot of big time players in Vancouver. He's got a lot of large investors who are not just in this thing for it to go to 15, 20 cents. They're in for this to kind of be the next big thing. So it's going to be an 8.5 cent financing with a 15 cent half warrant. And then here's another thing. A lot of times these warrants are only good for 2 years. This is going to be good for 3 years. But again, go look over the presentation. Go look it over at my past interviews with Morgan on the website. And then you'll see here, you can see that, this is the gold and silver resource. They've already done some really good drilling at depth. And I really think, at a 2.4 million market cap, even fully diluted after the next financing at a $4 million market cap, this is really kind of a no-brainer here. And again, it's the way I kind of felt about Aftermath, about Nevada King, about Wallbridge. And I'm not saying some of these have gone up when they haven't been like my greatest feeling, but usually the ones that I have the big scores on are the ones where I'm like, yeah, this really, I think over the years, I've maybe had about a dozen of them. And I think one really hasn't worked out, and the other ones at least went up 3 to 5x, or the best case scenarios of this. Like one I can't show the chart of was, again, through Mike Williams, a stock called Underworld Resources. I was building up a resource up in Yukon. Basically, we did a 50 cent IPO financing. The stock went to 250 and was taken over by Kinross, and it was like less than a year that happened, So these are the kind of things that, when you get that kind of feeling, I don't know if you want to call it your spidey sense, the tingling kind of feeling, but these are the kind of things that I find usually really, really work out for me when that's the case. So yeah, I hope you like this as well. So like I said, they're going to be raising this money. You can get back to me at addictedtoprofits@hotmail.com. If you have any questions, I can help you out with the forums, etc. Morgan is a very open guy. He'll talk to you if you want to talk to him, the CEO. And like I said, I have a really good feeling about this thing right now. Kind of being the next deal. And by the way, this is like I said, juniors are pretty dead right now. Nothing much is going on. I did a couple small deals earlier in the year, but as of now, this is really the only deal that I plan on doing. It's mid-July. This will probably close at the end of July. Like really almost to the end of the year, maybe one more later in the fall, but definitely the next 2, 3, 4 months. This is about the only one I'm doing because I feel so good about the CEO, about the management, about the valuation, about the potential to expand the resource, etc. And it does look like gold is firming up. And yeah, if you get the combination of gold finally breaking that 2100 and silver breaking 25 and going higher, silver is over 25 today, but I mean, really, really breaking 25, going towards 30, then a stock like this could just really rock it. So, and like I said, I put my money where my mouth is. I put 20 grand in an earlier financing. I did have a marketing agreement with them. I'll probably do another marketing agreement because I like the company so much. And, I've been buying, through me and my family, we have over 200,000 shares purchased on the market as well. I think it's 230 I own in my family's account, and I want to get it up to 300. So I'll probably be buying a little more in the market as well. So anyway, take care. Like I said, more information on the company. You can just look at my interview with Morgan. I've explained it, why I like it, the share structure, the management, the potential to be kind of the next big one. So I hope you like this. You have to be an accredited investor, of course, but if you are interested, in doing this, like I said, I think this will be open for a week or two. And hopefully you get in, and hopefully we get another company that can do really well.